Ever felt like you've taken 3 steps back for every 1 step forward? If you have, you are not alone. I've been there more times than I can count. Setbacks don't mean failure. They're actually the doorway to your next level. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, or have a big vision, adversity is a part of the journey. But without the right mindset and support, it can feel like you're stuck in the same loop, fighting the same battles over and over and over again. In this episode of the Unleash Your Ambition podcast, I'm having a conversation with Angela R. Lewis. Angela is a former professional basketball player, coach, author, and now the head of operations at SpeakerHub. In this episode, we have a conversation about how to overcome adversity without losing momentum, why the voices you listen to can make or break your success. And we also talk about the leadership principles Angela took from elite sports and now uses to grow business and teams. So if you've ever felt stuck, questioned your vision, or struggled with setbacks that knock you off track, then this episode will give you the practical tools to shift your mindset, keep moving forward, and stepping into your role as a stronger leader. All right, grab your pen, your paper, and your favorite drink, and get the most out of this episode. Angela, thank you so much for being here. Can you please share who you are, what you do, and how you help people?
Stacie, thank you so much for having me. I am Angela R. Lewis. Apparently, there's a lot of people with the same name, so the R is distinctive. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and we'll get into it more today, but basketball is a key part of my life growing up playing sports. I'm 6'1". I've been this tall since I was 12 years old, and so I was really uncomfortable in my own skin and very self-conscious. But someone saw me, I started playing basketball and ultimately ended up playing professionally and coached college basketball, NCAA Division I, coached professionally, and which led me to start speaking and sharing my story. And I published a few books, did all the PR outreach myself, and that led to me now being head of operations at SpeakerHub and still using my experiences to inspire the lives of others.
I love that. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. And the mindset that you've had to develop as an athlete transfers over to business. I always think that athletes just think differently than the average person because they're used to doing hard things. Okay, so for those of you watching and listening, we're going to talk about insights from Angela's journey as a professional athlete on overcoming adversity. We're also going to talk about developing a champion's mindset and applying the principles of elite sports to business and leadership. So, Angela, I know that's a lot in one sentence, but we'll start with more insights of your journey as a professional athlete in overcoming adversity. Like, where do you want to start with that?
I'll start with the framework I came up with called the 6 V's for success. In this framework, it's really about going from valley to victory. And so we talk about victory, vision, voice, values, valley, volunteering, and values. And so what is important is to know that wherever you are, there's a next level you can get to. And the first step is really evaluating yourself and getting really, really honest with yourself. Part of being an athlete, to your point, Stacie, about thinking different, we have to look at the stats after every single game. Literally, after every game, you're checking to see how well you did and you make adjustments. And honestly, it's not even after every game, it's after every quarter. After every quarter, the coach is given the stat sheet. You know how many rebounds you had, you know how productive you are and what type of numbers you're putting up. And you're coached in that moment to make adjustments to get better. And I think sometimes in business and in life, there's no one coaching us, or we don't have the skills to coach ourselves in order to help us get to the next level, to help ourselves win, but to help the people that we are around when the community, the teams that we're on, whether it's community, whether it's the team at work, or even your family. So we're not always getting feedback. And I think that is one thing that makes athletes unique, because you're used to receiving feedback and you're used to being expected to adjust given that feedback. Without the feedback and getting really clear about where you are, you can't overcome the adversity. You end up running into the same loops over and over again. It's like you don't get to, and you play a video game, you have to beat this one level, you have to beat the big
The boss
person at the,
level.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Mike Tyson knockout, which really dates me.
That's funny. I was
um,
just thinking about that game the other day.
See, it was classic,
Yeah.
classic. So you have to keep beating the next obstacle to get to the next level. But without honest feedback about where you are, it's not possible. And I think athletes are used to getting that. And that's what allows athletes to excel.
Yes. I mean, athletes are coachable. And I love how you tied this into like if you don't know how to coach yourself, or if you don't have someone coaching
Hmm.
you, like overcoming adversity, overcoming challenges can be so much harder trying to do it alone. I mean, because
Yeah,
we're in our own perspective, and it takes us getting out of it to actually see the forest for the trees.
it
So,
does.
yeah. So, what kind of adversity did you overcome as an athlete?
As an athlete, so much of it is mental. And I think that's an athlete and not is, do I believe in myself enough to be willing to go out there again after a bad game? There was one particular game I will never forget. We were playing at Cincinnati on the road. And I'm sorry, this is when I was in college, though. We were playing at Cincinnati on the road. And I missed a shot that could have won the game. And I was devastated after the game
Mm-hmm.
because we were so close. Cincinnati was such a good team. And that win would have been really incredible for us.
Mm-hmm.
After the game, I'm sulking. And one of my coaches came up and was like, we play on Sunday. So this is great. I understand that this is hard for you, but you have to go to the next game. You can't sit here and be upset for the next 3 days because we need you to switch your mindset and be ready to play the next game. And the next game, I played really well and we won. And so I think part of adversity is really dealing with yourself and being able to move forward even when you don't feel like it, even on bad days, and even when you didn't necessarily perform well, knowing that there's a next play, there's a next game, and actually your team really needs you to step up.
I'm glad that you shared that. So, how this transfers, I couldn't think of the word, transfers over to business is that you had someone on your team, your coach telling
Hmm.
you, like you got to get back into this. You got to change your mindset. You have a team that's depending on you. It's not just about you.
Hmm.
And I think that having people to support you when things are the hardest, things are the most challenging, is like the best gift ever. Especially for those of you watching or listening who are self-led. You're very independent, you love doing things yourself. Yes, that's great. However, it's always great to have people in your inner circle who are going to stretch you beyond your comfort zone, because we do have one. We have a ceiling, and the only way we get past that is the mindset, is the support. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Do you have anything to add to that?
I would say that the voices, so one of these of the framework are the voices that you listen to and the vision that you have for yourself. So sometimes we can get stuck in that valley, in that challenge because we're listening to those voices from ourselves and from other people that actually don't help move us forward. Because oftentimes we take advice from people who haven't been where we want to go. And so, but this is not a criticism.
Right.
It's just that if you want to know how to get somewhere, follow the path that has been laid by the person who's done it. And that makes a big difference. So having those people to look up to and who've been there can help guide you through the valleys when it's incredibly challenging.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought up the point about, sometimes there's people in your life that aren't helpful to you achieving a certain result or goal. And it's not that they're doing it on purpose. It's just that they're in a different mindset. So being able
Absolutely.
to, listen to people who have paved the path, who understand where you're going, who won't stop you from going there
Hmm.
of because they because of risk. I think
Yes.
a lot of people that care about us and see us going after certain goals that just seem crazy, big. They're trying to protect us from
Yes.
pain, and I know it's out of love, but it doesn't help us.
I agree
Mhm.
100%. One of the biggest risks that I've taken was moving to Medellin, Colombia. And I lived there for 2.5 years. I
Mhm.
went to Colombia to do a basketball clinic. So obviously basketball is my background. I've trained over 500 kids, either coaching teams, doing camps and clinics. So I had this incredible opportunity to do a basketball clinic in Manizales, Colombia. I went down there, Stacie. I didn't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And I didn't care because sports is like the language that you can speak that connects you to people all over the world. And while I'm down there, I go do the clinic and I have friends who lived in Medellin, Colombia, and they were living their best life. This was right after the pandemic.
Yeah.
The world had just opened up and they were the most peaceful and happy while everyone back home was like really stressed. They were living incredible life drinking mango juice. So I made the decision that I'm going to go live in Colombia for 2.5 years. When I came back to the States, I didn't tell anyone I was moving. I
Mm.
didn't tell my family. They don't travel internationally. It's
Yeah.
not their thing. I don't think
Sure.
it's everyone's thing. I
Mhm.
talked to only the people who had done it. So I sold everything, got rid of everything, moved to Colombia, and launched a PR agency. I did some online um, personal development for young women. So I ran this program called Ignite Her Game Academy. So we had these leadership lessons, but at the same time, I was living in another country and it was my first time going there. And from there, I launched the PR agency and that changed everything for me.
Mm.
Everything.
I love that story. Oh my goodness. Yes. So for you listening or watching, there are going to be some things that you just don't share with the people closest to you. And it's not that you're hiding anything. It's just that you want to be in a good mental space because
Mhm.
I mean, of course, the people closest to us can have an impact. They can deflate us. And again, it's not that they're doing it on purpose. I mean, maybe some people are. I don't know, but it's going to be your own unique situation. And what a great experience for you to go there and see how other people live and just getting into a new community. Like that's outside of a lot of people's comfort zone, going to another country. Matter of fact, like here in the US, people are afraid to go to a different state, or
Right.
leave their town. And it's like
hmm
there's so much out there that we can
There's
experience.
there's so much. And
Hmm.
for me, Stacie, playing basketball in Europe after college opened up the world. So for
Wow.
context,
Hmm.
growing up, before I started playing basketball, we traveled to two places, Memphis, Tennessee, and Bayou, Mississippi. And most
Mm.
people haven't even heard of Bayou, Mississippi. It's the oldest all-Black municipality in the US, really small town in the Delta. And those are the only places we traveled. It wasn't until I went to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma when I was 12 years old for the AAU National Championships. And I remember like it was yesterday, Stacie. I was walking through the parking lot and I saw these license plates and they were from all over the country. And I was like, oh, okay, so the world is bigger than
Yeah.
St. Louis, Memphis, and Bayou. Okay, well, where else can I go? And from there, basketball has just taken me so many places. But Medellin, going to Colombia doesn't happen if I don't go to Germany after college.
Wow. Amazing. I love that. That's so interesting. So developing a champion's mindset. I know we touched on mindset some, but
hmm
like for the business owners out there,
Sure.
speakers, entrepreneurs, like what does it take to develop a champion's mindset?
Being willing to get up after being knocked down over and over again. That's part of, if we're connecting sports to this. In sport, you're going to literally get knocked down all the time. You're not going to win every game. The best basketball players miss half of their shots. I mean, you shoot 50% from the field, you're a really, really good player. But some people think, well, if I miss 5 out of 10, then I'm not doing well. Well, no, you're
Mhm.
actually really freaking good. So being willing to get up when you get knocked down, that's part one. Part two is you have to work so hard. Like whatever we're going after is 10 times harder than we think it's going to be. So I launched this PR agency, right? And I started this agency because I did all of my own outreach when I published my books. So I was like, oh, I did outreach myself. I can do outreach for other people. Let me ask people if they need help with this. Launched a PR agency. Stacie booked over 400 podcasts and interviews for clients. But I thought I didn't do well. honestly, I didn't add this up until today. I was
Oh,
adding
wow.
it up because here's what happened. My confidence got lowered because I would work with someone, we get them booked, we'd get them booked on 6 podcasts, and they would say, "Oh, this isn't working. I don't want to work with you anymore." And I'm like, and then we get another client, and they would get booked on a few podcasts and for some different opportunities, but it wasn't enough. And so I felt like, oh, this just isn't working. But we worked with over 30 people and
Right.
people got results. And so I think sometimes early on in business, especially, so I only done that business for a few years. Early on in business, we think that things are going to work out really easily and simply.
Hmm.
But if you don't have the right target for your product, if there isn't product market fit, then it's not going to go well until you find the right person and the right people. Then it's not going to work out the way that you think. So here's what happened. The PR agency, I was really down about it. We were moving along, but I had hired 5 people. We had to downsize big time. But we were ultimately acquired because we had great systems. So the operations were intact. We had good operations. We just didn't have the right target. And so we were acquired by what is now SpeakerHub. We were PitchDB before, and I've been able to help grow the team and grow SpeakerHub while continuing to speak and write. So things don't always work out the way you plan. And that's part of the champion's mindset. It's like you keep going, even when things aren't working out the way that you think they're going to work out. Still keep the vision, but the plan may change, the strategy.
Yes, great point. And yes, like we do have a big vision for what we want to accomplish, but it never looks to getting there, it never looks like how you imagine it in your
No,
head. For example, you were down on yourself, but everything worked out probably even better than you even imagined.
much better.
Yeah.
When I will tell you what I didn't pay attention to then. As a new business owner, I heard people say, like, keep the numbers, track the numbers. But just like in sports, you just need to look at the stat sheet and see if the numbers match up to the goals that you have. And the numbers will tell you if it's working or not. But I didn't do a great job of actually tracking. And so now I track all the time. I've learned from working with SpeakerHub and being able to go back and get the numbers. And it's like, oh, we were really doing some great things. And so we just keep it going.
Love that. So a lesson here for you who's watching and listening is like, even when you're successful, there's going to be times when you don't feel like you're doing a great job. And somebody on the outside looking in would think otherwise, but it's amazing how, I wouldn't say amazing, but I would say it's interesting how no matter how successful you are, there's still mindset hurdles. It doesn't end, we get
It
stretched in
doesn't.
different ways. We can easily fall back into old thought patterns because we're human. So I really love that story. It's just a great example of, things are working when you think they don't. Don't go off emotions, go off of the data because
Mic drop on that. So true.
yeah,
Because
data doesn't
emotions
lie.
just,
So the last thing is about applying the principles of elite sports to business
mhm,
and leadership, because we haven't really gotten into leadership yet.
sure.
So what would you like to talk about when it comes to that?
When it comes to applying elite business, elite sports to business and leadership, what I learned from playing sports is that leadership is really about 3 things. One, can you hold people accountable for what they said they were going to do while by holding yourself accountable first because you have to model it. So are
Mm-hmm.
you accountable? So do you show up every day on time? With me, everything I do is remote now. And so it's really important. The time, the setup, everything matters in how you show up for your team. That's the first part. Second, leadership is about listening and service. And so today I was on calls with our team trying to figure out what's going on, trying to help them troubleshoot various issues, but being present and willing to listen makes a big difference. And then third, giving people and your team a vision bigger than they have for themselves. So I feel like as a leader, I feel like a detective. Like I'm searching for the talent that they're not expressing. I'm searching for the hidden gems inside of them that can really keep them motivated and light them up to get us toward the goals that we have. Because people want to know that they're more than the role. Like you do this job, but you're a whole person.
Mm.
And so being able to find the buttons to push to get them to really show up fully and excel in their work is the work of the leader as well. And all of that came from sport.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're a great leader, so it would make sense that you're the detective and you see their potential far beyond what they see. And I love that you're able to look at the whole person, because I've heard like nightmare stories of people being on teams where they feel business teams, I should say, where they
Mhm.
feel like they're just a number.
Yes,
They're not appreciated, and that makes the workplace kind of toxic, you
it
know.
does.
Nobody,
100%.
like, who wants to work somewhere where you don't feel appreciated, or who wants to work somewhere where they're not stretched some so they can perform better, so they can get that confidence boost,
We we
so they
have a
know they're
saying,
appreciated.
we love hard things. Like we attack hard things. And when things get boring, we create a next level to get to, Stacie. So you're right. It's if you've been doing the same thing, then the question is, well, what's the next level of that thing that can motivate you and drive you to want to accomplish that? Just
Mm.
like in sport, right? If you're shooting 30%, how do you get to 40? 40, how do you get to 50? You're always looking to get better.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this is such a great episode. And Angela, I would love for you to come back, at any time, whenever I have
Okay.
anybody on my podcast. I don't have like a just a revolving door of endless people. I carefully choose who I want on the podcast. Like, I have to be interested in them. I have to love what they're doing. And of course, I have to love the conversation. So I know there's so much more that we can, or you can share about just your experience, the things that you're doing, accomplishing, how you're helping people through SpeakerHub, right? SpeakerHub?
Yes.
Yes. So but for now, for the person that's watching or listening, like, where can they connect with you outside the podcast?
Outside of the podcast, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Angela R. Lewis. You can go to my website, angelarlewis.com. And if you're a speaker, of course, speakerhub.com.
Wonderful. Okay, so for you that's watching or listening, look below the video if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, then look in the description and you should see the link to the show notes page so you can reach out to Angela. She has so much wisdom, and she's an incredible human being, and I really appreciate that you came to share,
Thank you,
so much
Stacie.
today. Okay, so final words of wisdom for the person who does not come from an athletic background. They're having a hard time overcoming adversity, but they have a vision to be a
Mhm.
better leader. They're aware that they need to work on their leadership skills, but they feel blocked. They feel like they're taking 3 steps back, every time they move
Mhm.
forward. So what would you have to say to them?
I would say that feeling is normal. So if you feel like you're taking one step forward and 3 steps back, welcome to the club. Like we've all been there. So that's actually a great starting point. And then from there, pick one thing that you can do differently to get to the vision that you have. So, and then do the next thing once you're doing that consistently. Oftentimes, people have problems because they try to change too many things at one time and haven't sustained one thing. So pick the one thing. Maybe it's having one-on-one conversations with your team. Maybe it's responding to emails first thing in the morning, doing time blocking. Maybe that'll help you feel less stress, responding to emails in the morning and in the afternoon. So find one thing you can do and then do something else. And then you'll continue to feel like you're progressing and see the progress and build that confidence in your leadership ability.